What is going on, irregulars? Welcome back on another Thursday. It's your boy Bobby. Caitlin, what's good?
I just want everyone to know that he's been waiting to say that tagline
I
because
have.
I didn't let him say it last
No, she
week.
refused. She cracked the whip. She's you're too tough on me.
I know, right?
It's fine. How you doing?
I'm good. I went to the gym today for the first time in. I know, right? Thank you. I'll clap for myself so it doesn't sound so
Good
fucking
job. Good
pathetic.
job.
I want to say that I have worked out a bit at home. I just I'm not an anti-masker by any means whatsoever, but I just sweat too much to wear a mask at the gym, so I just did not fuck with it. But I don't know. I'm vaccinated, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go.
First time in how long?
I went, I think, once or twice in August of last year, but
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's like, I don't even really count that because I went like to go tanning at the gym and I just like hopped on the treadmill for like 15 minutes, so I didn't look like super pathetic.
To reward yourself a little bit, you're like, I got to do something
Oh, yeah,
to reward
absolutely.
myself with the tanning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So, and I haven't been to the gym like regularly in the suburbs since I lived here, I would say. Last time that was in 2018. So I was living in Philly and working out there. And I just need to say, like, the gym attire has changed drastically since the last time I went here on a regular basis.
Girls or guys?
Girls,
Okay.
dude, I mean, you go to the gym a lot.
All the time.
So do you see this?
I mean, I see
Do you know
it.
what I'm talking about though? So like
It's like the sports bras with like the shorts, the spandex short shorts,
yes.
and that's it.
So I guess I don't know. In Fishtown, which is where I lived before this, I went to Planet Fitness there as well. So a lot of the girls would dress like I don't know. I think that gym was kind of like a 25 and older almost because that's kind of like what Fishtown area is. Um, and I feel like when you get past 25, you don't quite dress as provocative. I don't know. But basically, it was like, cute leggings, cute sports bra, cute tank. Like sometimes you mix it up a little and like wear a crop top, but like you don't, that's it. Like, and everyone's in shape and everyone has money. So it's like that you're not really shocked by it. But like, holy shit. I was on the treadmill and this girl walked out from behind me. I guess she was coming from the bathroom and she was first of all tan as fuck. Like I thought she was I thought she was half black because her skin tone was just beautiful. And then she turns around and she's quite obviously not. And I'm like, okay, so you're just tan as shit. And also she's like super fit and she's got these like high-waisted like I don't know what the material was. Just like cute little shorts on there, kind of like baggy. This like strappy ass sports bra, like a Nike hat. She had Jordans on, and I'm like, this looks like Instagram, but like in LA.
Yeah.
But this is Lansdale, and
And
this is Planet Fitness, and it's
exactly.
4 p.m. on a Tuesday. So I'm like,
You know what I find funny? This was, oh my gosh, I was in college. I was coaching the high school wrestling team then, and I wore cutoff to practice, and one kid went in on a shot. His hand got caught in the cutoff, and it ripped the cutoff all the way down to like right down to the bottom. I used to go to wrestling and then hit the gym and then go home. And I walk in and I didn't have like an undershirt on or anything. And of course, it ripped the side that my rib tattoo's on.
oh, so it's
And
like
I
a
was like,
fucking douche.
yeah, so I look like an idiot. And I'm like, all right, hopefully they're not going to like yell at me because it's a judgment free zone, right? All that stuff. Let me preface too. I love Planet Fitness.
Same.
It's a great gym. Has everything you need to look good. That's all you need. But I'm working out, and all of a sudden, the one girl who works the front desk starts walking over. I knew her. I graduated with her, and she's like, "Hey," and I was like, "What's up?" She's like, "So," and I go, "Is it my shirt?" She's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I'm sorry. Like, I swear on my life, like, it ripped at wrestling practice. I hit the gym on the way home. I don't have a spare shirt, like, whatever." She's like, "Listen, I don't care, but like, if I got you a shirt, like, if I gave you one, would you wear it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's fine." So I got a free Planet shirt out of it,
Nice,
whatever.
nice.
But then I think back to that, and then I like think now, and I'm like, but how come these girls don't get like no one says anything? Our whole stomachs
It's
showing, and that they have like
crazy.
this two smallest articles of clothing on
Right.
possible, and no one says anything to that. Now I'm not complaining, you know what I mean? Like I think it's great, but like I just thought it was funny how I got called out for it, and because one side of my shirt was ripped severely for the most
Well, I
part, but
wonder
like.
if they would call you out for it now, though, because I feel like gym culture's changed a lot since then too.
Yeah, because in Florida, that's where I noticed it first. Now I moved to Florida end of 2017, so and I was there till the beginning of 2020. And Florida culture is just different.
Right.
I lived in 9 minutes away from the beach, so
Mhm.
like everybody's ripped and tan and in shape and bougie and all that. So I was like, maybe it's just like a Florida thing. And then I moved back and I'm like, no, things have just changed.
It's crazy, and even I was looking at the age of the girls, like, I don't know how old those little body girls were, but, like, even just some girls that were on, like, elliptical machines and stuff, like, they had to be, like, if I had to guess, starting at, like, 13 or 14 years old, which I didn't even know what a gym was when I was 14. Like, so that's just
I'm
I don't know,
surprised they're
it's
allowed
crazy.
there.
I
I,
I don't know.
I know one dude that I work out with sometimes there. He brings his 9-year-old to the gym sometimes, but she has to stay with him the whole time. Like
Right.
she's not allowed to just like go off and do her own thing. So
Yeah.
they're like real weird, real weird. But I noticed what you've noticed. So you're not the only one. Put it that
Yeah,
way.
it's crazy, and I felt like I was 100 years old at the same time, so
Yeah. How do you think I feel? I'm
oh,
bald.
and now, like, they don't have the tags anymore, like, I lost my tag to scan in, and I asked for a new one, they're like, "Oh, we don't get them anymore." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You have to download the app and connect your membership and then scan your phone." I'm like, "I am a boomer.
You missed the boat.
I'm a boomer. I'm, like, 50 years old now, like, fuck me." I'm like, "Oh, the app?" He's like, "Do you need help?" I'm like, "No, motherfucker, I know how to download an app, get out of my
Get out of here.
face."
You missed 1 year and aged 60.
Yeah, I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Just because my ass gravity has, like, had a little bit of an effect on my ass, like, it's not
Oh
quite as
my
high as it
gosh.
was a year ago, like, I still know how to download a fucking app, so
Oh,
get out of my face.
that poor kid's just like, I'm just trying to help.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? You just yelled at him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
How are you?
Huh. Yeah, after that long spiel, honestly, I'm just super stressed right now. Like, I leave for Montana. By the time this episode airs, I will be on a plane to Florida and then to Montana to meet up with all the guys and whatnot and their respective girlfriends from Florida. And I just tried packing the other night. I got the good stuff in. I got like my hiking pants, my hiking boots and stuff in there. And then I'm like, oh shit, what else do I need? And then instead of finishing packing, I just had an anxiety attack, closed the suitcase, and turned on Entourage and
Love
just
that for you.
took a nap instead. So I'm not done packing. I leave very, very soon. And I just don't know what to do. Stress is from work, good stress at work. I'm doing well, but that on top of the podcast stuff, like I'm just like on edge. I'm ready to get the hell to Montana and just like
Be a mountain man.
yeah. I told all my coworkers, I said, my shift ends at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. I said, do not fucking call me. I said,
Good.
I do not
Good
care
for you.
if one of my customers are on fire. Do not call me.
Burn, baby, burn.
Yeah,
I'm going on vacation.
yeah, do not call me. And if you do call me about anything that has to do with work, I'm going to hang up on you and more than likely block you for that week.
Good for you.
Shutting it all off, going out there. A couple of the guys are started driving from Florida
Oh,
out there.
wow.
Yeah, they're doing a road trip, whole thing. They made it to Wyoming. They're in Wyoming right now. Yeah.
I'm so geographically challenged. I have no idea where Montana is or where Wyoming is, but I do know where Florida is, and I am aware of where Pennsylvania is as
Okay.
well. That's
So
about
just so
it.
you know, it's pretty freaking far away.
Okay.
So they're camping there for a couple days and they're sending pictures. And I'm like, I'll show them to you after because two of the guys in the group are professional photographers.
Ooh, fun.
So like the
You're gonna have some
photos,
nice glam shots to add to your dating profiles after this.
yeah, the ones that I don't use. Yeah, so it's the pictures and stuff that we're gonna get are just so sick. So I'm just ready to go, even though like anxiety's telling me I'm not. I'm ready to just let go, let loose.
This
So,
is crazy because usually I come in here like visibly shaking from stress, and you're like pretty chill. So I'm at least I'm a little bit more calm this week, and we're both not losing our minds because this would be quite an episode if that were the case.
yeah, it wouldn't be good for you
But you
guys.
look very chill for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, and then inside it's just that monkey smacking the cymbals together, just bing, 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 and I'm like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? I got this and this and this to do, blah, blah, blah. I got like, yeah, just way too much, way
Okay,
too much.
Ton. By the time that this airs, you'll be in Montana. So
Yeah,
whether or not you get it done, no one will know.
no, this is also true.
If
Yeah,
this comes out on, I don't know, in 3 weeks, you'll know that
And it never
Shit
made
hit the
it.
fan.
Yeah, exactly right.
So anyway, this week we have a guest with us again that we are very excited about. This is a friend of both Bobby and mine once again, and we're excited to have her on. I don't know why we've never thought about bringing her on before because her story is interesting.
Yeah, I think like it sounds really rude, but I don't really care. I'm gonna say it. You guys are my friends. Well, at least the people sitting in this room are. You guys listening probably are like, this guy sucks. But no, like I feel like since it was like she was always like my ace in the pocket. Like I knew like no
Yeah.
matter what she would be available. Like and it's a story that we could do. So like I was like, you know what? Not that her story is better or worse or anything. I just knew that she would always be there. So I was like, let's focus on the things that are going to be really, really challenging to get and try and overcome those first. And then, we'll get her in when we can get her in.
And here she is, ladies and gentlemen. We are bringing on a friend of ours who deals with an autoimmune disease called alopecia. That is quite literally all that I know about it. So if you could tell us some more about it, welcome, Rikki.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I've never had a bad day in my life.
You
You all
always
should know
say
that
that.
by now.
Yes. Mhm.
That's your line.
Yes, it is. Tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll kind of get into your story.
My name is Rikki. I live in Conshohocken, which is right outside of Philadelphia. I'm 27. And like they said, I've known Bobby and Kate for a
Too
very
long.
long time. Yeah, a long time. And yeah, I just work a lot, normal life, except for today, I guess.
I like it.
Every time Bobby says that he's in Conshohocken really, really drunk, I'm assuming it's usually with you, correct?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So here's some full circle action, guys.
Yeah, full circle. Whenever usually actually, I would say within the last like 3 months, every time I've been drunk has been in Conshohocken.
And I feel like you get like exceptionally drunk in Conshohocken.
It's just a thing that happens there.
Yeah, like the way alcohol flows there is totally different. It's smoother.
I've never been out in Conchi before.
How
Ever.
did it come out?
All right.
Where
Yeah,
would I
what
go
the hell?
out?
I
Really?
don't know. No, I haven't.
Bobby doesn't invite you.
Because I honestly don't know anybody that lives there except for you now. And like older friends who now have kids and stuff and,
And, yeah, they
definitely don't want to party with my ass.
No, and I feel like every time I go out there, I run into somebody I know. Remember last time we went out for your birthday?
Yeah.
I ran into that kid from high school. Haven't seen him in like 12 years. He's like, "Yeah, I recognize you." I was like, "Oh shit."
It seems like everybody kind of moves to Conshohocken. It's like the place now because it's so close to the city.
Yeah, and
It's like
but it's
once-
far enough away from home too.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
nice.
I feel like once Philly's kicked your ass and like chewed you up and spit you out, you're like, all right, I'll go to Conchi. Because like I can't go home at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Kind of, yeah.
like a beaten horse. You know what I mean?
It's like you can't take the city's woes anymore. Conchi is like the adult place to live now, I feel.
Yeah, people go there like, still single, still want to party, but they can like walk up and down the streets. A lot of like go to restaurants and bars, so it's fun.
A good
Love-
Conchi plug, guys.
there
Yeah,
you
I
go.
live there.
I got all the deets.
Oh my god. So tell us a little bit about your story and kind of just walk us through, paint that picture of, what you currently live with.
Okay. Do you want me to kind of explain what alopecia is so people understand?
Let's start off with that.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I can tell you I have no idea. I mean, I know basically, but not really.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like more people know about it now, but it's still not like understood. So, like you said, it's an autoimmune disease. Basically, your body is attacking your hair follicle because it thinks that it's a disease. So it thinks that it's harming your body, so it attacks it, which causes your hair to fall out. So there's 3 different kinds. Alopecia areata is the most common. It's for like people with stress. Normally, if you have like a really high stress situation, Bobby said he's had this before.
Mhm.
And you can get steroid shots and it grows back. Happens every so often, but it doesn't really affect anything else. I have alopecia universalis, which just means your entire body is hairless. And there's really no cause. No one can really explain where it comes from because there's no one in my family who has it. So it's definitely not genetics. And I don't think stress could have started when I was 4 and lasted up until today. So,
Oh my gosh.
and then there's a third one, alopecia totalis, which I don't know too much about. I just know that it's just your head. It's just your head, your eyelashes, your eyebrows. That's it. You have hair everywhere else, which I think is probably the worst case scenario.
Yeah, right? Like, that sucks.
I feel like I'm happy with the one that I have just because I'd rather have all or nothing
Yeah.
at that point. But
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Could you imagine me with the third one?
Oof.
You know what I mean? Like no facial hair, but then like because from the neck down, like I'm hairy as shit. So like it would be like
Everyone would
really
think that you
weird.
had cancer all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah, all of the time. Yeah, it would be really bad.
which
Oh my
is
gosh.
something I have questions about. So I'm assuming you noticed this. I don't know. You found out when you were 4. Like,
So it was a slow but fast process, I would say. I was 4 to 5 is when it started. Like, so
so you
basically,
had hair when you were born,
I had hair when I was born. I have baby pictures and like toddler pictures of me with blonde curly hair.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and then it came out of nowhere. Basically, I would wake up in the morning and there would be large clumps of hair on my pillow. And it would just be more and more every day. And it wouldn't be like the whole thing at once or like little bits. It was like enough to be noticeable, but like it was just confusing. You're just like, what is happening here? Like, what's causing this? So then slowly, like, it just fell out more and more. Obviously, my parents completely lost their minds and like thought I was like deathly ill and took me to the doctor. And at that time, they honestly didn't know too much about it, but they were like, she has alopecia. Her hair is going to continue to fall out. We don't really know at what rate, if it'll stop, if her hair will go back. There was no answers at all because, I mean, there's still no answers. I could grow hair back tomorrow, and then it could fall out the day after, and then I could. So it's all up in the air. I mean, mine's pretty consistent. I've had it for my whole life at this point, but they didn't really have any answers. So my parents were just losing their minds trying to find every medicine, anything they could possibly do, and I like the way they went about it, my parents, because they wanted to make sure that I felt normal, but also didn't feel like I needed to feel normal, if you know what I mean. Like when I was at the doctor's, they had this pamphlet for this camp that I could go to. Oh, like it'll help her feel, normal. Like, she'll be at a camp with all these other kids who have hair loss problems. My dad's like, she doesn't need that. Like she'll be fine, like we'll figure it out. She doesn't need to go and feel like she's like an outcast that needs to go to this camp, which like I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You shouldn't do that, but
It's just
I'm
not for you. Yeah.
personally
Yeah.
glad
Mhm.
that they didn't do that. in
Yeah,
the
that's
first place.
cool.
But
So can I ask, do you remember waking up with the clumps of hair? Like, do you remember all those early? Because 4 or 5, you're pretty young at that
yeah,
point.
I mean, like I know it happened, so I can tell you like how it happened because my parents were there, but like I can't picture the day, in my
Okay.
head that I
Mhm.
woke up and that was happening.
Right.
I just remember the process of
Right.
it all.
Okay.
So
It is pretty wild because like when I lost all my beard hair from chemo, those days of like waking up and just looking at your like you said, looking at the bed, you're just like, oh my God, like what is
Oh,
happening?
and yours
Yeah.
probably like disgusting pubes.
Oh yeah, it did. It looked horrible. I'll never forget the day that I shaved because I came up. It was like it started to get like patchy, and I like woke up, went to fix my bed beard, and then it was just like my
Oh.
entire hands were covered in hair, and I just looked in the mirror and I was like, this is it. And then I looked like a plucked chicken after that. So it was really bad. Anyways, I digress.
I mean, you had that happen to you later in life. I'm personally glad that I went through it young because I hear stories of girls who went through it in middle school or high school, like, when people aren't very nice to you already, and then you have to go through that whole process of dealing with that. Like
and your hormones are going crazy too. Middle school, high school,
oh my
like
God, I couldn't imagine.
emotional. Oh my gosh, no. Oof.
I have to say, it's pretty humbling to think about. This is gonna sound so lame. I cut my hair off like 4 years ago, and I cut like 14 inches off of it, and I had like a complete crisis of like, who am I? My hair was like the one thing I always fell back on. Like if I wasn't tan enough or skinny enough or my outfit sucked, like at least I had great hair. And then I cut it off, and I'm like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And then it grew back 3 years later, and I'm fine now. But like, oh Lord.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a lot of girlfriends that like don't get their hair cut because they're like, if I get a cut, I'm gonna hate it, and then I'm never gonna want to do it again, and like it's like precious. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way about mine now, but it's because I pay a lot of money for it.
Right. I can't even imagine like someone like you said who deals with that later in life and has to like create this whole new
yeah.
identity for themselves.
I mean, when I was younger, like going through it, obviously, it was not easy. There were all the medications. I think that was the worst part. Like I actually got to a point where I told my parents like, no more. Like I'm done. Like this is just who I am, and just I'm not gonna try these different things anymore. Like there was one where it was like an ointment that I would put on my head and where my eyebrows would be, and it was supposed to like irritate the skin so much to like force hair to grow, but all it did was irritate my skin.
Mm.
So then I would just be irritated
all
constantly.
of the
And how
time.
old were you at this point?
I don't know the exact age, but I was definitely under 10.
Oh my gosh.
So I was just sitting there with red. It was red too. So it was like obvious, like red eyebrows, red head, just like irritated and miserable. And like, I appreciate them for trying, but I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. And then there was different like things for eyelashes, and they looked for wigs for me, which took quite some time. I mean, first we were literally using, I'm going to call them Halloween wigs because they were made like crap, and I had to double-sided sticky tape it to my head, and it was itchy and just not a good experience. But after, I would say, a few years of using those, my mom found a woman who has alopecia, and she makes the wigs I'm wearing now. I've been wearing and using her company since I was a child. Like, she's basically my family at this point.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, she does a great job because
Oh, yeah.
I can. Your wigs are top notch.
She does a great job. I mean, she wears them herself, and she's been doing it for such a long time. And she inspires me because she has her whole head tattooed, and that's something I really want to do.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
I'm
can see that.
terrified.
I can see you doing that.
Yeah.
She should do it. I've been trying to convince her for like months now.
Shocking. So
Well-
unlike you, Bobby.
Well, I know, right? Well, every couple of weeks she'll like text me. She'll be like, "Call me a bitch and tell me I won't do it." And I'm like, "You're a bitch. You won't do it."
I need that. I need that.
Yeah.
I need someone to just like hold my hand and drag me there or something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna schedule the appointment. Like,
Yeah.
And he will. You know that.
That's
Yeah.
fine with me. I'm just gonna need like, I don't know, some ointment, like a Xanax to calm me down.
Some ointment, a Xanax.
Like on my head to like numb it a little bit.
So what was growing up like? Like, what was school like and other people? If you don't mind getting into that.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, honestly, surprisingly enough, when I was younger, I mean, you always know that, you know, you're told beauty standards, you know, guys want you to have long, beautiful hair and long eyelashes. So I always thought that the boys would be the bad part, but it was the girls. The girls were mean.
Bitches.
Like
Girl-
how old?
I would say middle school and on.
I could see
Basically.
that.
Well, not now per se. Maybe I just don't care now, but
I think you don't care, and also like I don't. We'll plug her Instagram. This girl's fucking slamming. So like, they don't have. They have nothing to say at this point.
yeah,
Thank you.
Girls can't talk shit.
No.
No.
But yeah, like they would just say, I mean, even in middle school though, like that's when we started kind of having social media. I think I had like Zanga, if you remember what that
Oh,
was.
my
of course.
God.
We all remember
Oh.
Zanga.
Yeah. So that was like the what we used then, and you couldn't really do much on there, but then they created Form Spring, if you remember Form Spring, where you could
Ooh.
anonymously say things to people.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Imagine that nowadays. Oh.
I'm sure they have different versions of it now.
I mean, now you just have to say it on their Instagram and hope,
Ugh.
hope
Yeah,
you don't
just
get in trouble.
Yeah, start a fake Instagram.
So can I ask, are you comfortable sharing? Like, are there any things that you remember specifically that they said that really hurt you? You don't have to get too deep into it if you don't want to. But.
No, I'm just trying to think of like specific examples. I mean, people would say really awful things. They would say things like, "I hope you have cancer."
So they didn't know, or
They knew I had alopecia, but they were like, they would preference cancer instead, I guess, to make me feel bad about it. Which, like, I feel like you're kind of a bad person for
I was
even
like,
like
what the
wanting
fuck?
to say something that like low. But I mean, it was more just like people telling me, you know, you're not attractive, guys aren't
Ugh.
gonna like you, you know, girls, and especially like if I was dating someone and a girl liked said guy I was dating, they would be like, "Well, you know she's bald, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, of course they fucking know." Like,
they're like, wait a minute, what?
yeah, like pretty sure if we're dating at that point, they probably know a decent amount about me, and they would definitely know that I'm bald. So, and I don't think it bothers them very much, but apparently it bothers you. So it was just stuff like that. I mean, it kind of, I feel like being bullied, I wasn't a bully, but I definitely bullied them back. Like it definitely forced me to be like, I guess more of a fighter. Like if someone's going to say something to me, I wasn't afraid to just flat out approach them and be like, "Do you think that's okay?" And then that's when they would like crawl into their shell and be like, "Wow, never mind."
I would say she's a very what would be a good vocab word? Like upfront, like you know what I mean? Like you really, even to this day, you have no problem just being like, yo, what's up?
Mhm.
But instead of being like, yo, what's up, bitch, and like taking like a super immature route, you just walk up and you're just like, so, what's going on? You're just like, ooh, she's like way more calm than
Yeah,
I
that's
and
so much more
I'm like, about what
intimidating.
you said. They're like, I never thought you would actually talk to me. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
here I am.
Well, because you're short, you're attractive. Like I feel like you're that kind of shy that like if you don't really know you that well, you don't kind of come out of your shell at first.
Yeah.
So they probably weren't expecting you to come at them at all.
Yeah, especially with social media. I mean, you don't
Mhm.
really have to. And then I think MySpace in high school,
Ugh.
commenting and all that kind of stuff. It was all, especially social media, but even in school. Um, but yeah, it was mostly girls. I mean, guys were a little bit mean, but honestly, I always got the same thing. You are so lucky you have no hair. And I'm like, I guess. Like, that's kind of creepy.
Guys said that to you?
Yeah, like they would make it like kind of creepy. And I'm like, no, I'm just a little bit weirded out. But I mean,
That's so standard of fucking
But
guys to
but that's
do.
not. I was just gonna say, like, I feel like the guys' side of bullying was so like immature and dumb that it wasn't even worth paying attention to. You just look at it and you're like, you're an idiot, and then you just keep walking. As
Yeah.
opposed to like the girls, they can dig in a little deeper and
girls
hit
use
you in
their
the
words.
a lot more efficiently than guys do. Guys are like, damn, that's sick, and you're like, all right, like you're dumb, whatever, go away, Jonathan.
Yeah, the worst insult a guy could probably be like, "Oh, well, you're bald." You're like, "Yeah, thank you so much.
I never
Yeah.
knew
You
that
will be
before.
one day too." So
Hey, whoa, chill. I'm bald.
yeah, but it's hot.
Oh,
We've been
whatever.
over this.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
guess. So, high school did it kind of? When do you think it kind of stopped, like that bullying and?
I feel like once I kind of made it known to people that it didn't bother me. Like I kind of had to like set that standard for people so that they didn't think that that was their way to like get at me when they were like mad or didn't like me, because they would say it and my response would be like, okay, and they were like, crap, well, I don't have anything else.
This-
So like,
this-
That was all I had.
Yeah, this didn't affect her as much as I thought it would. It
Yeah.
actually reminds me of an episode of The Office where they're like making fun of Michael, and Jim goes like, "Michael, like, just lean into the joke a little bit. Like, if you lean into it, and then people don't have anything to say, and then he's like, here's an example, and they go through an example, and he's like, oh my gosh, Jim, that actually worked. And Jim's like, yeah, I know, you do that very well. I've seen you do it. You know what I mean?
it just, and I mean, for a while it was a, fake it till you make it. I'm going to show you that I don't give a shit so that you think I don't give a shit. So you just give up and stop trying. And then eventually it truly just became that I didn't give a shit. So it just, just happens. But I mean, I think that I was definitely always trying, like I was thinking other people were thinking about it more than they really were. Like I was always trying to prove something, always trying to like do other things, and like felt self-conscious about it. But the only reason is probably because things people said and, just feeling different. But over time, I got over it. And I feel like most people that I've met and guys I've dated, when they do see me without my hair, they're just like, you look the same. Like your face didn't change. So like, it's just hair.
Your
Oh,
face,
that's so sweet.
yeah, your face didn't change, personality didn't change. I feel like I'm one of the few guys who have seen you without hair.
Yeah, there's not too many.
Yeah.
I've seen it on Instagram.
Yeah.
But again, she has a beautiful body, so it's very ezy to get distracted by that as well. So,
Caitlin said
I have
it,
a low key
didn't.
girl crush on Rikki. Let's just admit it. Here it
Yeah,
is, guys.
This is true.
I think the first time I met you, I was like, "Can I see your boobs?" I'm like, "Is that inappropriate?"
Oh yeah, you were wasted that night. I actually
Yeah.
dropped you off at your house. And
That
you were
was
like,
the night that we had the bar tab of like $1,200 on a Sunday
Oh.
afternoon.
oh yeah, it was,
Mhm.
was. And
Great
I remember
times.
I dropped her off, and she goes, "I just asked Rikki if I could see her boobs," and I was like, "What'd she say?" She goes, "I don't know. I'm pretty excited for a response though." I was just like, "Get out of my car."
I was probably like, sure, I have plenty of
And
photos.
that was the day we met too. So like,
I was like, "Oh my
great,
god,
great girl. Anyway, how did we get here?
great girl, huge boobs."
And like, I don't have boobs, as we all know. So like, I'm like fascinated by tits because like they're like a foreign concept to me.
Oh my god.
Like I'm yeah. Anyway, I digress. New topic, Bobby. Lead us somewhere else, please.
I think the next kind of like milestone we want to hear is actually your realm here. Like you wanted to get into like the girl stuff, like getting ready. I shit that I just
So
flat out-
tits again? No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I feel like this generation is so much more blessed than you and I were growing up, because like we learned how to do eyeliner like with a pencil, like a big, thick, gross line, and like I
Blue
don't even-
eyeshadow.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that like, learning how to do your makeup and like Like, how did you? My one actual question, I'm fully going off the rails here, is how did you pick your hair color? Because you said you had blonde hair as a child. Now you're more like a strawberry blonde.
So when I started getting the wigs, I just went for what what my hair was. My mom's like, "You were a strawberry blonde when you were born." So I was like, "All right, I guess I'm supposed to be strawberry blonde. I'll just keep buying that color." I mean, I didn't buy it. Thank you, mom and dad. But um yeah, so I got strawberry blonde at first. I did like short, and then so the wigs last 2 to 3 years are supposed to last. And then
Is it real human hair?
it's real human hair, and the mold, it's like a silicone mold that is made specifically for my head. Like when I was younger,
Oh.
they actually used to come to my house, paper mache my head, and then use that to make the mold. Now they're like, high-tech technology. They just have like a little laser thing that works.
A scanner.
Yeah, and then it'll just make it. But yeah, so it's fit specifically for my head, and it's real human hair. They only take like virgin hair, so it can't be dyed or anything like that. I think
So part of you is a virgin. That's cute.
yeah.
Had to throw it in there. Sorry, too easy.
Yeah. I think it's from like Locks of Love, wherever people donate their hair to. But started out with strawberry blonde, and then after the 2 to 3 years, you can actually get them repaired one time for a little bit less of a cost, and then it'll last you another 2 to 3 years, and then after that, you kind of just have to start fresh with another one. So my parents were great enough to normally buy me two, so that when the first one was starting to fall apart, so the hair will fall out, obviously it doesn't grow back, and then like the silicone mold will kind of like fall apart. And then because I was a child, my head was growing at such a fast rate. So they would buy them kind of like staggering so that when one was being repaired, I would still have one to wear.
Did you get the same one, like when you doubled up like that, like, or did you
Normally,
change up styles?
I progressively got longer at one point. Like I started short and got like longer and longer, and then I realized really long hair is like impossible to maintain. And then changed the color. I think one day I was just like, maybe I'll be brown now. Like maybe I'll be a brunette, and I'll try it out. And I remember my boyfriend at the time was like, "No, you've always been a blonde." And I'm like, "Well, your opinion doesn't matter. So I'm gonna buy brown."
Oh my
I
God.
hate when guys weigh in on hair. I always say this. Like your boyfriend's always like, I don't want you to change your hair. I like it how it is. And you change it like, oh my God, I love your hair. You're
But it's
like,
also like it's on my head.
exactly. I'm like, well, good thing it's my hair.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. So yeah, because like I feel like I would get like 3 wigs and then just like change them all up. Like I'd change them every day. I
Yeah.
feel like, can you change it every day?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, if I want to spend that much money, yes. So the wigs that I have now are more expensive. I've been looking into like cheaper options just to like play around with it, be
Mhm.
blonde one day, brunette the next day, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever I want to do. But I slowly started switching it up like throughout the years, and now I just kind of go with whatever. And when you buy them, I always say they come like cousin it. Like they're just hair. Like there's no bangs, there's no style. It's just the color that you wanted and the length that you wanted. So then I take it to Maria, and I've been going to her for forever because she touched my wig and made it beautiful, and I was like, I'm never going to find this again. So I'm just going to keep going back to her.
11 a.m.
And
salon, local business, always
Yes.
plug. Anyway.
Yes. So then I get them all styled, and then I can wear them for a while. But I've been trying to buy like some more different styles so I can
Does she
change
style
it
them
up.
when they're on your head, or does she put them on a mannequin?
No, it's on my head. So a lot
Okay.
of people are always like, why don't you just like wash your hair in the sink, or like, leave your hair at the hair salon for the 2 hours and then go somewhere. I'm like, there's no really way for it to stay on anything other than my head. Like it's rubber, and it's a giant suction cup. So I just push all the air out, and then it sits on my head perfectly and doesn't come off unless you like literally you have to like yank at it. So
Which is another question that I have later on. We'll get to that.
so it can't really sit on like a mannequin head and stay still. So she would be having a hard time, and you can't really put any like people are like, oh, you can put like a pin in it to like hold it down. But if you put a hole in it, then the air that's supposed to
Yeah.
be, it's just a whole thing. So yeah, I go like swimming with it on, shower with
Oh,
it
really?
on.
And it stays in your head when you swim.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And like get my hair done. You can style them. The only thing is the hair gets dry much easier. Just
Right.
so I like have to do a lot of conditioning and all that. But
So
yeah,
you
I mean,
wash it off also?
yeah, I wash it like normal, like once a week,
What
unless
what are you washing it for if it does it get greasy?
like the bangs on my face.
Okay.
Obviously, will get
Mhm.
greasy, and like underneath, if I'm like sweating, like going to the gym or whatever, goes down the back of my neck, it's on my hair.
This is
Yeah,
funny.
obviously,
This is all things that I have not experienced because I haven't had hair for so long. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what was it like having hair? Now I totally forget. I totally
the
forget. I'm
only
like,
reason I know is because of this wig.
yeah, like because I remember in high school I used to have like long hair. It used to be like down to my chin, and now I remember like coming home from wrestling practice like drenched in it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that shit was gross and greasy.
Yeah, it's
Now I
disgusting.
don't have that. Oh my gosh, this is taking me back down memory lane. Keep talking.
This is why it takes me so long to get here. Honestly, I was thinking about this before we were recording. I'm like, I went to the gym. I'm like, if I were Bobby, I could literally just go to the gym. Actually, if I didn't want to, I wouldn't even have to stop home because I could just splash water on my face and show up. I'm like, but I have to go home. I have to take a body shower. I have to blow dry the sweaty spots in my head. I have to then straighten my hair and put dry shampoo on it and then put makeup on. And that is why it took me an hour to get here.
Dry shampoo is a savior, especially
Yeah.
for me.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Just because the roots don't get
Right.
greasy. So
Mhm.
it's like just around the edges where it would get greasy. So dry shampoo saves my life. But
Mhm.
yeah, I wash it like once a week unless I do something like crazy and put a lot of hairspray in it. Or I can do all the things with it that I think that's why my parents were like, this is the winner. This is the one you should have
Yeah,
because you can
absolutely.
just put it on and go about your day and you don't have to worry about it. And I remember my parents told me when I was a kid, trying to put it on, like I had to find like different ways to like fully get all the air out of the wig. So I would just put a pillow in the corner and do a headstand.
Oh my God, that's
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
They probably have a picture of it
Do you
somewhere.
still do it now? Please say yes.
No, but I
Please
probably should.
Could you imagine? She's like, actually.
It could, like, if you're hungover and you have to put your wig on, like,
Yeah,
headstand time.
Yeah.
So what other challenges do you have as far as like getting ready and putting yourself together?
Putting myself together.
Like, as your eyelashes and your brows, right?
Yeah, I mean, thank God for microblading because I mean, when I was younger, I always had bangs. I did like straight across bangs. I had glasses. I kind of like figured out ways to mask it with the wig. So I would wear glasses. You wouldn't really be able to tell I didn't have eyelashes. Straight across bangs. Couldn't see that I didn't have eyebrows. And then eventually I like grew out of that style. And my mom was like, there's this new thing that came out. You can tattoo on your eyebrows. And I was like, Mom, I've seen horror stories. I'm absolutely not doing that. I don't want to come out with some crazy clown eyebrows and like look ridiculous. Like, no way. And then over the years, it became more like popular. Everybody's doing it. You could see it all on Instagram. Some people are really great at it. The girl I go to is amazing. And that helped a lot. I mean, now I don't have to do that in the morning. But the eyelashes, I think, were like the biggest challenge. I mean, now that they have magnetic eyeliner, that helps a lot too because the glue. So I had to actually watch a lot of YouTube videos. So they would show you like, I would literally like YouTube, like girl with alopecia putting on fake eyelashes. And there would be tutorials of girls like showing you like, oh, you have to do these specific steps to make sure they don't like fall down. And this glue works really well. And these are good because they're light eyelashes and they won't droop. And there's still like complications. Like when I go out, I always have like eyelash glue with me. Cause I'm like, if it falls off, like I don't have
Yeah.
anything there.
Mhm.
So that's a whole process. I think that's the one thing that I wish I had. Everything else I can kind of like I got my eyebrows microbladed. I have a wig. The eyelashes are the one thing that like I can't always just have.
I
It's
feel like at
a
some point,
process.
though, like, I would be willing to bet, but before your life is over, they'll figure out a way to get
Yeah.
you permanent eyelashes. Like, there's just no way. The beauty industry is so, like, it's so up and coming. It'll be there. And, like,
Magnetic.
Magnetic.
I'm still stuck on that.
I didn't believe in it when I first saw it. I literally watched tutorials on YouTube. That's like
so this
my
shit
thing.
actually works?
It works.
Oh.
But
Magnetic.
so yeah, you put the magnetic eyeliner on your
It's
eyelid,
like liquid.
and then there's little magnets on the eyelash that stick to it, and it's like crazy. I literally blew like a blow dryer in my face to make sure it wouldn't come off.
Okay, you have to
Wh-
send me the brand of that because I want to try it.
I think it's Glamnetics.
Love that.
They're pretty expensive, but worth it.
Magnetic.
He's still on this.
Magnetic eyeliner.
I just like think of like the magnetic like chargers and stuff like that just like click on like real quick,
Yeah,
and
you,
I
like,
just
hold it
picture
up and it
yeah,
just
you just
goes,
hold it
like-
up and it just clicks like
It
that.
basically does.
No.
We'll show you videos.
You have to
Do
like
you have it? Do you have them?
not on me.
I want to watch you do it. I just want to just
Like,
snap onto your
I think
face.
I might have a video because I was in disbelief when I did it the first time, but I was just like, I have to try it. I was like,
If I learned one thing today, that was the best thing I've
And
learned.
people are like, "Oh, magnetics so close to your like eyeballs and your brain. Like, isn't that bad for you?" It's like the teeniest amount of magnetic. Like,
You
it's
carry a cell phone in your pocket every single day.
I was
Shut
like,
up.
I'll be fine. Like, I do plenty of other things throughout the weekend that
Yeah.
probably would kill me first.
Yeah. Oh, amen, girl.
White claws.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can't get over these magnetic
No,
eyelashes.
no. I want to look at it now. I'm just there because like my Mac charger, my old Mac charger, actually the same one that you have, I think,
Mhm.
it would like click in,
Yeah.
and that's like literally what I'm envisioning, and I just can't picture that on my eye. I'm also super sensitive to my eyes. Like, can you touch your own eyeballs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Well,
I
we,
can't.
we
Well,
wear,
we're girls.
makeup,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah,
kind of...
I can't do. Well, people with contacts, like
Mm.
if I need contacts, I'm done. I'll just wear glasses the rest of my life.
My ex-boyfriend did that.
I cannot
Pussy.
I cannot watch or touch my eyeballs. Can't do it.
All right, so this wig stays in your head pretty well. One of the top questions I had going into this was like, can you get your hair pulled during sex?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not. I've had guys try, and I'm like, if you do that again, I'm walking out this door right now. Don't even fucking touch it.
And they know? Obviously
They know, yeah. But in the moment, they're not. The guys don't. They're just like animals.
thinking
they
about-
don't fucking think about it.
We're thinking about all of the other things.
Yeah.
trust
Well, is
me.
it like, I mean, I've worn clip-in extensions before, and I remember, like, this is going to get graphic. Dad, if you're listening, please fast forward about 2 minutes. So, when girls, like, when you get it from behind, like, they pull your hair.
Dad's gonna kill you.
They pull your hair like backwards, and you kind of just like lean into it because you're like, if you keep pulling, it's gonna come out, and you kind of just like lean into it. Is it the same thing?
Yes.
I
Yes.
figured.
Same thing. They pull. It doesn't come off. But I'm like, if you do it again, I'm gonna
Good
smack
job.
you.
Caitlin and Rikki found common ground.
So, men, if you're ever pulling a girl's hair during sex and you see her like going with your hand pulling, it's because she has fake hair, and it will come out if you keep
Yeah.
pulling. So,
It's not because you're super fucking strong.
no,
It never is.
No, it's because
Never.
hair is expensive as shit. I've had clip-in extensions, and so I know about like the life of human hair,
Mhm.
and that shit is expensive AF. So, like, can you tell us how much a wig costs?
So these ones, they're like a range. It depends on the length. You can. I'm pretty sure you can order like I'm gonna use the wrong word, but I'm gonna say density of the hair. And you can also order like, do you want it curly, straight? There's like a whole like list of different things that you can do. So
Filters, essentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get like pin straight, or you can get super curly. You can get in the middle. I always just go like in the middle because I'm like, it'll have some,
Some
volume
body,
and
yeah.
some body, but it won't be like anything crazy. So I normally get, I think this one's like 12 inches. And it was a little over $5,000.
Whoa.
Were you ready for that?
No.
Yeah, I was so excited to talk about this.
Oh
because-
my god.
Who was it? It was me, Wagner, you, and there was one other person there. Went out to Poorhouse and we were talking about how much your wigs were. And I was like, whoa, let's back. You were
Yeah.
like, yeah, this one was like $5,000. I'm like, let's backtrack. What?
That's like the price of like a shitty boob job.
Well, so my parents, I've bought a few now at this point because I'm an adult. My parents don't buy my stuff anymore. But when I was a kid, they bought, I'm going to say at least 10 or so. So the amount of
God.
money that they spent. And so I told you earlier, you can get them repaired. So after those 2 to 3 years, however long it lasts you, that repair costs a little over $1,000.
Okay.
So it'll last you like, so we'll say $7,000 for like 6 years
Holy shit.
at the most amount of years that you'll get out of it.
Can you finance them?
So normally once you pay half, that's when they start making it. And then as they're making it, you can pay off the other half. So basically I just save up like $2,500 and then give them that. And then as they're making it, I pay her monthly for the rest of it.
Well, no shit, you're working all the time. Oh my god, that wow. And there's nothing like, there's no kind of insurance or anything that like helps you with that. at all?
No, because they consider it like cosmetic. They don't consider it like necessary for me to
Okay.
have. So, I mean, I'm happy that my parents did the work when I was younger and found this place because I know plenty of girls. I've met girls over the years that have alopecia and they weren't as fortunate. And I mean,
What did they end up doing?
they just rocked the bald head. I mean, they probably tried some like wigs that weren't as expensive, but
Yeah.
you can always kind of tell with those ones. Like,
Mhm.
so like when I was younger, actually, my parents, instead of doing the camp thing, they did like pen pals with girls from other states who had alopecia. So we'd like, talk to each other once in a while on the phone and just like, hang out once in a while, and our parents could like have us meet up. And
I'm sure that was good for your parents too, as well. Like therapeutic for your parents because they're probably like, "How is your kid doing through this? Like, you're a strong chick." You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like, the other parents may be like, "My daughter is losing her mind." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like beneficial for everyone. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like I had those friends growing up, and I mean, my friends were always funny about it. They like Becca growing up.
Oh my god.
Like my friends always wanted to try on my wigs. They thought it was so cool. It's like dress up. I've also had friends like draw on my head with like markers and stuff, like just weird random things. But so like, but meeting people, other girls especially that had it, and when I was younger, they actually had me talk to a few girls. So when I was like, I think I was like early teens, maybe I was like a tween. There were younger girls who were just starting to go through it and scared and understand what's happening, and I would go and talk to them and like explain the whole situation to like help them feel better about it. So
That's so cool. Do you still do any of that kind of stuff now?
not really. I mean, I feel like because when I was younger, it was. I won't say it's new because I don't know that for a fact. It's probably not new, but now it's social media. You can see girls with it all over the place. You can
It's
look up
normalized
hashtag
more.
alopecia and
Mhm.
you'll find a million people with it. So they don't really need those like support groups now. Whereas before, growing up, I didn't know anyone unless my parents found these pen pals or had me meet people somehow. And my parents will still, to this day, if they'll see someone on the road from like all the way across the street and they'll be like, they have alopecia, and they will feel the urge to speak to them.
Aw.
They like can't help it. Like I worked on the boardwalk in Wildwood, and there was a person that came up to me and was like, are you Rikki? And I was like, yeah, why? They're like, I just met your parents down the boardwalk. They saw me and started talking to me, told me that
Like I was in the Ferris wheel and
Yeah.
they met me at the bottom.
yeah. They're like, they told me I had alopecia and then told me about you. And I was like, oh, well, it's nice
Sounds
to
like
meet
mom and
you.
dad.
Yeah. Like, so, yeah.
Nice to meet you. I'm Rikki. What's your name?
Yeah. I was
It's
just like, cool. Like, we just have a little club, I guess, that we don't know about.
So I want to get back into the dating scene a little bit here. Circle back. What is that like? Like I
I always feel like there needs to be a conversation, but I also I mean, with social media again, if they follow me on social media, they've probably seen some of my photos with me without my hair. I also have a hashtag, the baldie movement, which is just like a group of mostly, I think it's all women actually, that have different hair loss conditions. So if they have me on social media, they have an idea. They probably don't know what it is. And when I had dating apps, which I deleted because they're awful, I
agree.
I had it for a little
Same.
bit in my bio until you, Bobby, told me to take it out because
Yeah.
you said that it scares people because
Yeah.
boys get scared so easily.
Well, but I
think that's probably a good move.
Yeah.
let me rephrase. Not that it scares people because there's something wrong.
Yeah, I
It
know.
scares people because if you put
They don't
a
know what it
big
is.
word in there, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I'm gonna swipe left. I don't care. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Especially because there's so many people at your disposal. You're like, I don't know what that means.
We're-
Swipe
Yeah.
left.
yeah, we're very simple creatures. You have
Yeah.
to make everything very simple. So
But so I had that in my dating profile for a little bit, and it was always like, what is that? It was either what is that or they knew someone who had it. Like it was either
one or the other. Yeah.
one or the other. It was never really like in the middle. And I mean, if they matched with me, then they already knew. It didn't bother them. Whatever. Without those apps and social media, I always feel like there needs to be a conversation, and I never really know how or when to bring it up because there's not really any other topic similar. Like I can't just be like,
Like, how do you transition? into the
yeah,
fact,
like what's your
hey-
favorite color? By the way, I'm bald.
Oh man, yeah. So when do you think you usually when do you find that first date, second
If
date?
the first date goes well enough, I normally send in a text because I don't want them to feel like put on the spot at the date. Like I don't know
That's
how
nice of you.
I don't know how they're gonna react, and not that I'm gonna be offended, but like I just don't know what they're gonna do. So like after the first date, if the first date goes well enough and I care enough to explain it to them, I'll be like, just so you know, I have alopecia, and then normally that'll be like, oh, either what is that or that's cool, like do you? And then I've gotten so many times like, but you have hair.
You're like, yeah, there's things called wigs.
Back to men being simple creatures.
Yes.
Like, duh, duh, duh.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have wigs.
I'm like, it's a wig, and they're like, oh wow.
It's a great wig.
Yeah.
For whatever it's worth.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, in guys' defense,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like a wig at
And
all.
now that I have eyebrows and I put on fake eyelashes, I mask it very well. But yeah, I mean, it's.
Has it ever been a problem? Has someone ever been like, "Oh, that's weird," or
I mean, rude dudes online, but nobody talks to them anyway. So like, it's
Yeah.
not like people I'm dating.
They're the
So-
ones that are like, well, you're not even that hot anyway. You're like,
Yeah,
well,
like a guy who's-
why'd you hit me up then?
Yeah.
Idiot.
yeah.
There was a guy who was like talking to himself in my DMs for like 2 weeks, and then I didn't say anything. He was like, I posted a picture of me without my hair, and he was like, well, that's gross. And I was like, okay.
All right.
That's
good,
a great
good one, dude.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Men that talk to themselves in DMs, but it happens all the time. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
it happens to you all the time.
Just like, hey. I'm like, nobody's talking to you. But
I like want to have guys back here, but like I know guys who do this.
it's
and
those
I'm like,
specific ones, though. It's not like, all guys do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that all guys out there are like creepy weirdos.
Thank God.
But the conversation is a part that has to happen. And then after the conversation, it's kind of like, when do I feel comfortable enough to take it off? Because I've always explained it this way to all my friends, that it's not that I'm not confident without it on, because obviously I do photo shoots. A lot of my friends see it. I go out without it on.
Oh, do you? I didn't know that.
It's a new thing.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would. I was gonna say. I know you've just recently kind of started,
And it's like only been to the beach, because I feel like that's like a very relaxed.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
going out is definitely, it's my next step, but it's a slow process. Because it's not that I'm not like confident. It's more of like, it doesn't feel normal, because I've had wigs since I've had alopecia. It's kind of like if I left my house without shoes on.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
Mhm.
like, I get up in the morning, I get dressed, I put my hair on, I brush my teeth, put my shoes on, I leave. Like,
you just made it part of your routine.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I skip that part, I feel like I'm missing something, and I walk outside and I'm like, I feel naked.
I know exactly what you're
Mhm.
talking about. The other day I forgot to wash my face, and
Oof.
I was I woke up super late, which never happens. I've been sleeping like hell because of my anxiety, because of my trip coming up. But I just ran out and I was like, whatever. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, did I wash my fuck? I forgot to wash my face. And then the rest of the day, I'm like,
You're
I'm like, get
greasy.
home,
Ugh.
get home, hop in the shower, wash your face again,
Yeah.
And it was. So I know exactly what you're talking about. The difference is just you're putting hair on your head.
Yeah, it's like a security blanket. It's just like a normal thing for me. And I also think that everyone that knows I have alopecia, like, they've all seen me with my wig on, but I feel like me going out without it, and them all, like, say I like showed up to tavern and everybody was there. Like, I feel like it would almost be like a thing. Like,
I mean, I can
it would
say I'd
be a
probably
thing.
look like, oh, dang, girl, okay, like,
yeah, like nobody would make it one, but I know, like, I would feel like it would be one.
and it would be comments. And I'm sure that at this point they'd be reassuring comments, but it would be comments all night long.
Yeah, so it would just be,
A thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I have to just get over that. But
And I'm gonna go on a limb, and you probably just don't want it to be a thing.
Yeah.
yeah, that's more of what it is. I just don't want
You just
the
want to be able to go.
conversation.
Yeah, you're just like, I don't really. Yeah, I'm here without my wig. Shut up. Can we
Yeah.
like chug this White Claw or
Yeah.
what?
I
Like,
kind of
Mhm.
think that's why I wanted a tattoo on my head, because I feel like it'll almost add something there, so it feels like
more people will talk about the tattoo on your head than not actually having your hair on.
that, and it's just like, I feel like it adds like pizzazz.
Yeah,
like
it's,
I'm
like,
like, it's like
decorated, like,
missing
adorned or
something,
something,
so it'll
yeah.
add that like I know a lot of girls who have alopecia who wear like ear cuffs and like cool headpieces, and like I've tried like the head wraps and stuff, and I can't really get it down, so I'm trying. But with guys that I'm seeing regularly, dating, it really depends on that person. Like, some guys are like, I want to see it, show me.
Mhm.
And then some guys don't talk about it because they probably don't want to make me feel uncomfortable. And then like I feel like I need to bring it up, and it just goes back and forth, especially because like I'm not really supposed to sleep with it on,
Mm.
because it'll ruin like the hair. Like if I sleep on it and you like roll around and your hair like kind of moves back and forth, it'll break the hair off of the wig. So it's recommended that you don't sleep with it on. It's also uncomfortable because I'm used to sleeping without like scratchy hair all over my face.
Yeah.
So if I'm like sleeping next to a guy and it's like a new thing, I'm like, do I leave it on? Do I take it off? I feel like if I take it off, it's a whole event and we're going to have to like sit and he's going to watch me take it off and I'm going to be like, this doesn't need to be this weird. Like
Yeah.
it's
Which would you prefer? Would you prefer a guy to not say anything or say something? Like you said, like some guys are like, okay, I want to see, and then there's other guys who probably don't say anything. Because I can probably tell you, I would probably be the guy to not say anything because if I would feel that I would be
pressure.
putting pressure on you to say, I want to see it. And if you're not comfortable revealing that side of yourself to me, I would feel bad. I would feel like
Yeah.
it would be, I would feel equivalent that if I called you a bad name. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling. I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, like I
Well,
just,
it's like anything that makes someone different about their appearance, whatever that might be. Like, I think generally you don't like pinpoint that one thing
And point it
and
out.
be like,
Yeah.
hey, let me see that.
Yeah.
yeah. And you're like, ooh. So like I probably would be more reserved, but I understand their intention
Mhm.
of being like, I want to see that. So like, do you have a preference? Which one?
I don't care. I mean, I don't want people to feel like they can't ask. Like if you want to, say it. Like I won't feel weird about it, but also like if it's a new person I'm dating, they don't know me that well. They don't know that I'm just like, yeah, sure, talk about it. It doesn't bother me, but if it's like too aggressive and they're like, you need to, like, then I'm gonna be like, okay, like you need
Yeah.
to chill
It might
Have you
out.
be
said
like a
no?
creepy fetish.
Have you said no before?
Um,
Has anyone been like, I want to see it? And you're like, not yet.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
many times. Yeah,
That's cool of you.
it takes like a little bit. I'm like, I don't know if I like trust you yet or whatever. It's kind of like a trust thing for me. I'm just like, it's something that I don't show. Well, soon I hope to just show everybody all the time, but it hasn't been something that I just go around and do. So like, there's been guys that I like slept over their house, and then like afterwards, I told them like, look, because I don't. Oh, my roommate knows this. Like, I will go to a guy's house. I'll go out to dinner with him, do whatever, and I will always go home. I'm like, I'm going home. They're like, what? You're leaving? And I'm like, yep, going home. And they always think like, oh, you don't like me. And I'm like, no, I just feel more comfortable sleeping in my own bed
Mhm.
because then I don't have to worry about that whole situation. And like, there's been times where I've told them later, like, oh, I slept over. I wasn't really comfortable. This is why. And they're like, well, I want you to feel comfortable. So don't feel like you need to leave it on for me. And I'm like, I appreciate that. I just needed to have that conversation because it's something that needs to happen, I guess. And I mean, I just like for people to not make it feel like a thing because I feel like it always is a thing, especially with dating. They like, and I don't mind explaining the whole situation, what it is, all that, and going into it. But yeah, it's always like a different situation. I never know like when to bring it up, when it's comfortable enough.
Well, now you can just send them this podcast.
Yeah.
You can be like, here you go. If you have an hour,
Yeah.
buckle up, baby.
Could you imagine if she actually did that?
I think you should.
If you want to know everything about my life,
You should link it in your dating profile.
He's like, hey, so I was thinking about we could go out and grab a drink. Do you have an hour of your time? Yeah, to grab a drink with you. No.
Nope. A regular
Before that,
podcast.
listen to this podcast.
Listen to episode 40, and here you go. And he's like, what the fuck is this? And then here we are.
Yeah. I also think so. I have a tattoo on my back so I wrote a poem when I was in 5th grade, and it was a pretty good poem for a 5th grader. I'll say that. I think we were doing it for like an assignment, and I was like, I think you had to write it about yourself, something about yourself. And I've written all like my college like papers and all that on alopecia because I'm like, it's the thing I can write the most about. So I wrote this poem in 5th grade. They actually put it in the National Alopecia Areata Foundation like magazine one month, and I was like, that was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
But the last 2 lines of the poem I have on my back with a fairy next to it, and that's kind of like a gateway into talking about it with guys because they always ask all about your tattoos, what do they mean, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, yeah, that one's like a poem I wrote.
What are the
And
last 2 lines?
It says, now I know that this is me, this is who I am, and who I want to be.
Oh,
Mic drop.
I love that.
That is nice.
I
Yeah.
might steal that and get a tattoo on my back. Just kidding. We don't know.
But yeah, I have the fairy next to it because the pen pals I was talking about, there was one girl that every time we would hang out, she would give me a different fairy statue. Like one would be like sitting, one would be standing, different
That's so
colors, all that
cute.
kind of stuff. So I got that next to it. And yeah, that kind of helps with the conversations because then it's like going through all my tattoos, like, oh, what is that one? And I'm like, oh, that one's because I have alopecia. And they're like, what?
And then the simpleton, caveman comes out. What is that? And
Yeah.
then we go from there.
But guys always respond well. Like I've never really had, I mean, like Honestly, the worst experience I had with a guy was someone I was dating for a while. I think he like secretly didn't like it about me, which is really weird, and like wouldn't tell me. But when he would get drunk, he would make like comments, and I was like, okay, well,
Is this some deep rooted issue here? You know?
yeah, like I don't know what your deal is, but like you've known this for a long time, so
Yeah. Grow up, nerd.
like maybe you're insecure and you're
Yeah.
like doing some weird shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, just tell them to grow up. That's been my thing recently. You know, because
That used to be one of my favorite insults because it fucking cuts deep.
well, I just tell people to grow up because 90% of the time that I say it, it's usually when I'm acting like an immature asshole, and then you just tell them to grow up. It's a great feeling. Anyways,
So it sounds like you were a pretty big advocate for yourself in what was it, 5th grade when you wrote the poem?
Mm-hmm.
Does that come from your family? Like, was your family? It sounds like they were pretty supportive through it. Do you have any siblings? Can I ask?
I have 3 sisters.
Oh wow. Okay. So what's that been like growing up, having this condition with the family and such?
My parents were always super involved. My dad always says I'm his favorite, but he says that to all of us. But I'm like, I know it because you had to spend all this time and extra energy on me.
And money. Don't
yes,
forget.
Exactly. But they did everything they could. They did a 5K when I think it was like 2008. It was called the Tortoise and the Hare. Thought that was pretty cute.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Where
That
was
is cool.
it?
I can't remember. So long ago.
So
But I
did they like sponsor? Like they put together the
They
entire
put the
thing?
whole thing together. All my friends went. We all walked the 5K, raised a bunch of money for the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. And they always donated every year to the foundation. And, we're always looking up new like products to use and all that kind of stuff. But I think once I got older, they realized like she's
on her own.
yeah, she's fine. She likes who she is. We don't need to like worry about finding like a cure. And I remember I told my dad, I was like, even if they did, like I wouldn't even know how to shave my legs now. Like what would I do?
Oh.
Like
I
true.
didn't even think about that.
I wouldn't even know like how to do those things. I'd be like, what? Like maybe I'm just gonna not do that.
Yeah. I never thought about that. I
Yeah.
could teach you how to shave a leg. I shaved my one leg for my
It's
tattoo.
not hard. You just take a razor to your leg and hope for the best.
Yeah. I cut myself all the time. All of the time.
Yeah, I would be really bad at it.
So it sounds like a lot of the support that your parents gave you growing up kind of carried through the rest of your life. What kinds of things have you found personally that have been good, like outlets or ways that you've been able to have confidence and support your own self?
So this is something I stumbled upon. I don't even think it was meant to, boost confidence or like be an outlet. But I had a friend who was starting to do photography, and he didn't want to be some creepy weirdo that hits up random girls online to do it. So he was like, "You're my friend. We can make it really casual. I'm learning. You've never done this before. Let's just like have some fun." And the photos ended up pretty good. I mean, not anything crazy, but then from that, like, I think because I had alopecia, photographers were intrigued by it. So they would reach out to me and be like, oh, like, let's do a photo shoot. And then, like, slowly I would always wear my wig in the shoots. And then I actually met one guy named Dave, who his girlfriend also had alopecia, and, like, put us together in a picture. You'd think we were twins, like, because we have the same, like, build. We're both short, bald. So we took some really, really amazing photos together. And that was the first time I'd done a photo shoot without my hair, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. Like I loved that. Like the pictures came out great. It was like the first time I saw photos like that of myself, because you know how we like critique ourselves so hard, and then when you see it in a photo, you're like, wow, like that looks completely different. Like I wouldn't have even thought about that. So modeling has definitely helped. Like I know now with everyone being an Instagram model, it's like some people just do it for the clout, some people do it for whatever, and that's your choice. But I think it's completely changed like my self-esteem because I can feel confident taking pictures with or without my hair, posting them, letting people see them, meeting, this is gonna sound weird, but complete strangers basically that I meet online to do photos with. I am safe about it, but and take these photos, and they just have such an artistic vision, and like it's not about what you look like. It's just about the photo and like what they're trying to portray. And Dave really had like a specific view of what he wanted these photos to look like, and they always came out just like amazing. And he was the first photographer to be like, all right, take your wig off, we're doing some photos. Like
Did
I
you know
remember
going
that.
into it?
Yeah, because he was like, "My girlfriend has it, and she wants to take photos with you." And, like, apparently she had never really met other people with alopecia universalis. Like, I've met a lot of people with areata, but it's not every day you meet someone, like, close to you that has it. So, meeting her was really cool. Like, we bonded. We're still good friends online, and she's one of those people who doesn't really rock a wig. Like, she just rocks her bald head all the time, and she has a big tattoo on the side of her head. She's probably the one who inspired me to want it. And yeah, just definitely like changed my confidence. I just appreciate everything more now, and it's just like I don't try and like validate it or like make it a thing. Like, it's art. So,
I will say I'm pretty sure I know that shoot. I mean, because we're friends on Instagram. I
yeah.
see, and on top of that, I would say every third Instagram post Rikki's about to throw up, she'll send me like 5 pictures and be like, "Which one should I post?" And I go, "What's your goal?" I always say, "What's your goal? Do you want Do you want likes? Do you want to look like a thought? Do you want a boyfriend? You know, which one do you want?"
And I'm
And
like,
I'll
"No, I
walk
want
up.
to look beautiful."
Good
Duh.
questions. Good questions,
Yeah,
though.
so I fire away and help her out with that. But is it the one where it's like kind of dark, right?
It was always in an abandoned building, which I thought
Yes.
was so fun because a lot of photographers like a lot of lingerie shoots, a lot of it's the same over and over again with him. It was like he would be like, this is illegal, but let's break into this abandoned building and get some smoke bombs. And he made like props, and I was on top of a very sketchy rooftop of this building. I was like, I might die today, but it'll be worth it because the photos are going to be
Great
great.
photo.
Yeah.
Fire
Yeah.
photo.
And no, it's true. I'm 99% sure
Are
I
you
know
talking about the
what's
one
where you're like
where?
laying down, like
Yeah, we have some laying down, which was pretty gross, but there's one, probably one of my favorites. It's me and her, we're hands together up in the air, and we both have white dresses on, and we're in like
yep,
water underneath of us,
yeah,
and there's like a reflection, and we literally look like we are the same person.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
That shoot is badass. 100%. That is a badass
We're
shoot.
going to
Yeah.
throw some of these up on our Instagram page, so hold on to your hats, guys.
No, it's no, yeah. Well,
Hold on to your hair.
Hold on to your hair.
Hold
Too
on to your
soon?
hair. No, that's awesome. I think it's great that although you may not have realized that it was an outlet, it now is kind of like your outlet to just live with yourself, and you don't care about what other people say or
Yeah.
do. This is who you are, and you're totally cool with it.
My niece, she loves to look at the photos because she gets really confused because she's like 7. She always asks me, she's like, Aunt Rikki, is that your pretend hair?
Aw.
And I'm like, it is my pretend hair. And she's like, and I'll take it off, and she gets like kind of nervous. She like doesn't know what to do.
Right.
But the other day, my mom told me she went to the store and she bought the bald Barbie, and I was like, that
Aw.
touched my heart.
Oh,
That's okay, so that actually makes me. I have a question about that. Do people ever growing up or even now think that you have cancer or had cancer?
Younger, they would ask. They were always just like, I don't really know. And I kind of like explained the whole thing. I was like, I'm not sick. Like, there's literally nothing else wrong with me except for the fact that like I have really crappy nails because I don't have any keratin because that's in your hair and your nails.
Oh.
But other than that, I'm not sick. There's nothing else like wrong with me. So I would like explain that. And they're like, oh, okay. Like I mean, other than the mean people, it was never really out of a bad place. They just didn't
Right.
know.
Okay.
I just want to thank you, Rikki, for coming out. I know you're right down the street, and like I said, you've been my ace in my pocket. I've been waiting to have this conversation with you. It was a great one, so thank you
Yes,
first and
thank
foremost.
you.
Yeah.
If you could hone one thing in and just say it to our audience, what you would want them to take home, essentially, what would it be?
I don't think this is like overarching over the whole podcast, everything we talked about, but my thing would be to champion other women because when I was younger, all the bullying and stuff that I went through, I'm almost happy I went through it because now I'm just so much more of like a positive person when it comes to other women. I don't judge. I don't like when other people judge. So I just want everyone to just like compliment each other, bring each other up, make each other feel good because honestly, it can make somebody's day.
Amen. Women supporting women.
I love it.
And male to male appreciation, which we've talked about before. In other
Thank you.
episodes
Yes,
as well.
yes. Male to male appreciation. I like that too. I had a post yesterday about that.
I actually saw that.
Yeah, you like that one?
I love that.
Yeah, it was a good one.
All right. Thank you, Rikki, again for joining us. I've actually low-key just like had these questions about your condition in general, and then like now that I know you a little bit better, I didn't really know how to breach the topic. So thank you for normalizing it and talking about it with us today.
Of course.
Yeah. So are you okay with people reaching out to you if they have alopecia themselves or if they have questions or anything like that?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Feel free to plug any social media that you would like for someone to reach out to you on.
Mostly on Instagram. It's my first name, Rikki, Rikki, but it has 2 extra I's. So it's RIIKKIIXO.
Perfect. I love it. On that note, as always, you know what to do. Feel free to follow the Irregular Instagram page at Irregular Podcast. Also follow my personal page at YoBob, EYOOO_BOB.
And follow my personal Instagram page at Katie_ANI. It's KAITY_ANI. Guys, as we mentioned, Bobby's going away. By the time that this episode drops, he'll be on his way to Montana, mountain man.
Yes.
I am going to Miami next week to visit our former guest, my best friend Liv. So we're not going to have an episode next week.
Boo. I'm sorry.
Summer hours. It is what it is.
Summer hours, like we said last episode. But, hang in there with us like you have been. We appreciate it. And on that note, we'll see you next week. Love you.
Love you guys.